My name is Abdullah Salman. I live in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. I am 19 years old and I have autism.
I would describe Abdullah as a fun-loving, kind-hearted, really loving child who's simple-hearted.
Religious, goofy, he gets lost in his thoughts easily. Uh, he smiles a lot.
My brother is is one of the kindest people I know. He's just so forgiving and innocent and brave because he goes through so much and he comes out with such a pure heart even though people are so cruel. He's so kind and he's he's just he's too good for this world.
Abdullah faces so many challenges, and for me, the hardest part is having to watch him get stuck at the same, things every day and not being able to get over them. It's awful to watch your kid struggles with things that come so easy and naturally to us, like talking with other people, acquaintances, friends, or knowing, the other people's emotions, and not be able to, teach him these things like these social manners. It's very hard. It just feels so frustrating.
Autism is a developmental disorder characterized by troubles with social interaction and communication, and by restricted and repetitive behavior. It's actually referred to as autism spectrum disorders because there's no set amount of symptoms or specific things that every child diagnosed with this disability has. There's actually a quote I remember hearing is that if you've met one child with autism, then you've only met one child with autism because every child is different. Every child has different symptoms, and oftentimes each child is diagnosed with multiple disabilities, not just this one. It's usually paired with, ADHD or uh, bipolar disorder or OCD. So every um, every child is different, and with some of the more extreme cases, you have kids who are nonverbal, and others, like Abdullah, or mild to moderate cases where most people can't even tell that that there's a disorder. Like actually, like whenever we tell people that Abdullah, has autism, they're always shocked. Like, what? No. And even though they acknowledge that he's socially awkward, they almost never think it's anything beyond that. Almost 1 in 59 kids in the USA has this disability, according to the CDC, but because it consists of such a wide range of symptoms and it's paired with so many other disabilities, people people are aware that it exists, but they're not able to identify it in actual like on actual day-to-day basis, and especially when it's on the milder side of the spectrum. And I think within that is one of the problems because people, even though there's awareness, um, there's not necessarily acknowledgement.
As a kid, he couldn't properly communicate with us until he was around 6. It was just repetition of words and just copying what he heard on TV and cartoons. I remember Elmo was his favorite character, and he used to use most of the words Elmo used. Then we started, after his diagnosis, we started speech therapy, and worked with him at home and prayed a lot, that we like really we wanted him to start, talking and able to tell us when he comes back from school that what happened in school. When I used to go pick him up from school, and he used to see other kids running to their moms and just, saying I love you and telling what happened, and talking about their class fellows. And I used to look at Abdullah, I used to look so lost in that crowd, and I used to wish, like, when will this happen? And when he will start, saying things like that.
Don't know. But somebody yelled. Somebody.
What did they yell?
The F off or something.
To F off?
No, what's the meanest thing? People do that a lot.
People tell you to F off a lot?
This person who who I thought was a friend, but he turned out to be a big enemy in the end. He used to harass me, talk backbite about me, get his friends to harass me. And
What do you mean by harass you?
what do I mean by harass me? Be rude to me. If it was PE, that was the biggest chance he had to attack me, to make fun of my lab, as his friend said, and his friends would too.
His friends would join in.
My life would not be the same without him, because he brings sort of happiness into the house.